folks, I'm Jeremy with JNS Graphic Craft. Been a little while since our last video. We were enjoying the summer. I hope you were too. Over the summer we were actually really fortunate to be gifted the retro mini consoles of Nintendo and Sega and Atari, and thought it was really fun to bust out all the original consoles and hang out with friends and family and kind of compare them to each other and compare them to the older consoles.
Hey yo, when I was a little kid playing games in a crib, guess I took for granted the time it took to get it in. Timer on, game start, 20 seconds flat, shoot, 2,600 games took less than that. Man, I can't seem to manage, never understood the fact. The more powerful the system is, a bigger piece of crap. Commodore 64 had a game called Ultima. I could fix dinner in the time it took to load it up. When Commander 3, although I never ever tried it, installation took an hour, so no, I wasn't buying it, man. I missed the cartridge, them jaws was sturdy. Now you get a disc read error if it's a little dirty. I used to stack my carts up and build forts with them, drop kick them with G.I. Joes and put them in my system, power on, and they work perfectly without a hiccup. If you feeling like I'm feeling, say it with me now, get up and drop the low, 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 drop the low.
And we've been talking about the mini consoles, and what did you think of the Sega and the way the controls handled?
Honestly, man, you actually, don't get me wrong, I like the whole wireless motif that's going with it, but dude, with this, it feels like you need the actual controllers because they're just not responding, like not what I was thinking it was going to be, because like Mortal Kombat, you have to have the responsive. You have to. Yeah,
out of the three so far, just right out of the box controls, I like Nintendo's. It has the feel of the old ones. Like the Atari, it definitely has like the feel of the old ones, like the shape and everything. The weight's a little different. I don't know, maybe just being a kid felt a little heavier.
Right.
But I do have some of the originals, and you know, we played on the original Atari too, and it definitely feels like the original. It's got a little bit more sturdiness to it. So, you know, this one's great for letting the kids play on it, but I think out of controls, Nintendo out of the box is great. However, Sega does have the ports to where you can get the old Sega controller.
Yes, and that's what we're talking about. You plug it in, yeah. And with that, that's what I'm saying. It feels like you have to have that. I love that you have the cartridge on top, that you can actually put an old game in there.
You can put an old cartridge in
You can put an old game on there that's not on that
that's the
80 game system that comes with it.
Yeah.
So you can play
80 games. I mean, honestly, it's about 40 really awesome games.
Right.
And then there's some like, you know, more of the Atari line memory game kind of stuff.
Right.
But
it's good for kids, you know.
Yeah, it's great.
It'll help with math and memory.
There's like a Pong with like an ice hockey type game on there and stuff. So it was cool. I played all of them. I liked it. They actually did a really good selection on the games. Some great Sonic games. So yeah.
Oh yeah, but responsive is not quite what I'd hoped. But we're playing Altered Beast now, so it doesn't require quite the button mash. The button mashing that Mortal Kombat would. Definitely captures the nostalgia of being a kid and playing on the Sega. One of the greatest things.
Power up.
We just got a little power up. These undead better be careful, Jeremy. You gotta catch those guys on the backside, man. We're on a team here. You're not doing your end of the deal. Kick him next time.
Oh yeah, you took them both.
I didn't mean to.
You did too.
I didn't.
That's all right. We need it anyways.
Yeah, he's doing horrible. Like someone had to get in here now. Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Oh, everybody, just get out of my way. Okay, he's got it. Yes.
Finally.
We're both in full Altered Beast form. Ooh, he's got a cool green color to him, which is how I would imagine Jeremy would look in Altered Beast form. There's a bit of lizard in that werewolf.
Just a little bit.
That's the one right there. Watch out! This is what we're gonna jump into, Jeremy.
Oh, there's a really fun one on here. Go to the next screen over. We'll do some Golden Axe.
Excellent. I think probably the greatest thing about these vintage, like renewed, old ancient systems is the nostalgia that it brings. You get to feel like a kid again.
Totally.
The look of them is well loved and familiar. 2 players. Now we're going arcade style. And Jeremy's definitely a dwarf. It's obvious.
Are you a rogue or are you a barbarian?
I'm a wizard, so I suppose I'll have to settle for this silly warrior.
That's magic. So the A button is your magic, apparently.
Oh, ooh, he just swatted me.
But I would say I would prefer to have the original much more. I think these are great for, letting your nieces and nephews have something to play on so that your super old Atari from when you were a kid doesn't get broken,
Right.
But out of all of them, I have to say, game-wise, this one's got a little bit of upper hand just because the fact you can use the cartridges.
Definitely.
Out of all the games on your NES, which one would you say is your favorite?
Oh, Final Fantasy.
I was so happy
Hands
they
down.
put that in there because that's usually something they only include with like the Japan or the European. They usually don't include Final Fantasy and the American ones, but finally they realized we love Final Fantasy here.
Yeah, I would say that's Final Fantasy, one of my original all-time favorite. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3, the American. I'm not sure how they coincide with the Japanese. Is hands down the best of those old school RPGs. The Dragon Warriors are close second.
Chrono Trigger.
I don't think Chrono Trigger's on par with Final Fantasy. Hard to say.
Chrono Trigger got me into Final Fantasy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So,
Okay, we're talking games. During the console wars, we're talking console wars for the minis. During the console wars, did you have a fave? Were you a Sega man? Were you a Nintendo fan? When everybody was kids and it was like I was going to school, my friends all were Nintendo and I had Sega. And I was always like, no, the Sega commercials, and they're like, no, Nintendo. So did you root for one more than the other back in the day?
I would say, we got little George here with us.
This little gamer wants to.
He wants to chime in. I would say initially it was Nintendo. When the first Nintendo came out, Mario Brothers, amazing. The Final Fantasy, and then the Super Nintendo had the games that I was into and I really dug. But Tecmo Bowl on the original Nintendo, Tecmo Bowls on the Super Nintendo, and then Madden Football came out on the Sega Genesis, and so EA Sports. Just being a kid that grew up playing sports and loving them, and also having a huge love for video games. That cross section I think was best captured early on by Genesis, particularly in the Madden and their soccer and their. I was more of an NBA Live guy. I like realism over. But NBA Jam was incredibly fun.
No fight. Come here. No fight, dog.
Get out of here.
Don't knock over the camera.
But yeah, so I would say early on I loved Nintendo, and then it was all about Genesis for the football games. But then when the Nintendo, with GoldenEye, what was it
Bond on 64.
When the 64 came out,
Everybody.
Madden was good enough
Settle
on
down,
it,
dogs.
and the Bond was amazing. So that really kind of dominated. But once PlayStation hit the scene, I've been a PlayStation guy ever since.
Yeah, same here. The Atari, you'd pretty much be our honorable mention out of the three. It's pretty cool depending on which flashback you get. There's some plug and play Ataris you can get to just like plug and play in. But the game selection is limited, and they're going to make another mini console for Atari games here later. So that one's kind of our honorable mention. The controls were pretty stiff. Everybody was just having more fun playing on the original Atari. So between the first and second, Nintendo and Sega, it was really hard. Sega, you actually can play more games than that what are on there. The 80 games that it comes with are awesome. The only thing is that the controls were pretty wonky. So it kind of, we decided that it would be probably our runner-up. If the controls were the port ones instead of the infrared, hands down, Sega would have it. It's still my personal favorite out of all the minis, just because you can add the games to it. If you point the controls right at the screen, you can do pretty good. Fighting games is kind of hard, though. Nintendo Mini, it win most definitely out of the summer, the cutest console of the year. They're going to be making more of them, I hear. I just say don't buy from the scalpers. Let's see here. The controllers right out of the box were awesome. Everybody really enjoyed playing on it. My only beef was Nintendo 2 controllers. I understand the extension cords were pretty necessary, but yeah, Nintendo was probably the big pick out of the summer. But I'd have to say that the council out of the family and everybody, friends, fam, everyone, for the summer, the council of the year would have to be Nintendo 64, and the game of the year would have to be Mario Kart. Everybody would like to see them make a little mini of that. Yeah, that was the one that everybody loved playing the most and got the most play. So Nintendo 64 Mario Kart is the console of our summer. Hope you guys enjoyed our little console war of the mini consoles, and I hope that you subscribe and like and leave a comment or two, and we're going to have a bunch more retro replays. Sega actually had a really good manual and showed all their games and controls and stuff, whereas Nintendo didn't really do that. It's just like how to turn on the system in a bunch of different languages, and so we're going to break down some of the Nintendo games on the Mini, and we're going to also do some of our other favorite mini games over the year, or retro games over the summer. So, thanks.
Remember times way back far when I was on the Sega Genesis playing Phantasy Star. Saved up some cash from mowing the neighbor's yard, and I bought a Super Nintendo with Mario Kart. I remember getting Hurricane kicks in as Ken and Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. I moved on as soon as I had permission to play Mortal Kombat as long as I cleaned the kitchen. Broke nerdy kid, never rocked the best fashion. Spent my last on Chrono Trigger to X-slash 'em, and that was the root of my video game passion. Playing classics on 16-bit graphics.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. When I was dead broke, man, I couldn't picture this. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis.